the order that we have here through the rest of our panelists. What I've asked everybody to do is just to talk for 5 or 10 minutes about themselves. I've got introductions which I'll just leave on the screen while the panelist is talking. The table is yours, so say what you want to say, and then we'll try to get into conversations about some of the issues that are out there in the transportation world. So first, Mr. Eller, for your public transit authority.
Sure. I'm just going to give a little brief overview of what the Public Transportation Authority does, or Wave Transit does, and how we kind of fill the role of economic development here, not only in New Hanover County, but in the entire Southeast North Carolina region. In 2004, the city and county, by joint resolution, created the Cape Fear Public Transportation Authority. We are an independent transportation authority. We operate outside of both the city and the county. Most of our funding comes from the federal government, although we are the designated recipient of state public transportation funds as well as federal public transportation funds that are generated through the motor vehicle fuels tax. Our current operating budget is a little over $7 million a year, so you can see that we provide a lot of value to the community. Mostly through jobs. We have about 120 employees, but we also have a lot of local suppliers, fuel suppliers, vehicle maintenance, and the like that we also provide a lot of support to. As far as economic development, we've been on quite a push lately to upgrade our facilities. Many of you may have seen that we just opened Fordham Station on the northern part of the New Hanover County Government Center. It was a $5.5 million project to service our transfer and administration facility. Not only did it create jobs, but it created well-paying construction, truck driving, engineering jobs. It also was designed to meet LEED gold standards, so it's very sustainable. It's a green type facility. Also kind of gets into some of what these other panels are going to talk about, which is the livable communities, the transit-oriented development. We've got bike lanes, sidewalks, a lot of alternative modes of transportation are supported by this facility. We're currently fixing to go out for bid later this year for an operations center, which will be located at the old DOT site off of Martin Luther King. It's expected to be about a $12 million facility, again, which will provide what we think are desperately needed construction jobs. And then, as Mike mentioned, we're also working as the grantee for the multimodal transportation center downtown to provide not only a place for Wave Transit passengers to transfer from the downtown area, but also to service Greyhound Transit, and at some point in the future, rail hub. While those projects are interesting and neat, what we do every day is provide transportation. How we provide economic development to the community through public transportation is mostly by providing transportation to folks that are what we consider transit dependent. They have they don't either have the means or the economic resources to purchase their own motor transportation, or they don't have the ability to drive, whether it be from a physical or mental disability. These are an important sector when it comes to economic development, because these folks do contribute when they do get to work. The transportation too often is the biggest barrier to getting to work. So every day as the price of gas gets a little bit higher, we're finding a new level of transit-dependent folks. Our current ridership is in the 1.5 million range per year. We have seen that rise considerably over the last 8 months, and it's continuing to rise at a greater pace now that the cost of fuel is starting to increase at the level it is. We also provide services like van pooling, which is where we'll have an employee of a certain company will actually drive one of our vehicles that we insure and pay the maintenance on, and a group of his or her fellow employees to work, pick them up either from a designated location or from their homes, take them to work, pay us a monthly fare. It's almost completely 100% cost neutral or revenue neutral, so it costs us very little money to operate these systems, but it does take a lot of passengers off the road, a lot of cars off the road. And it does provide a service for especially minimum wage and lower wage employees to get to work in the types of industry. The one we're working with now is the House of Rayford and Interfaith Ministries here. House of Rayford is a poultry processing plant in Wallace. Their biggest challenge is getting folks to work. They're in a rural area. It's very difficult for the folks to get to work. So we hope to expand this type of program as we go forward. One of the interesting economic development things that Wave Transit does is back in 2008 I think it was 5 or 6 when Verizon was coming to town. We were approached by Wilmington Industrial Development saying that their policy, their company policy was that their facility had to be located on a public transportation line. At the time, there was no service to Shipyard Boulevard. We were able to work with them, my funding partners, the City of Wilmington and Metropolitan County, to make sure that we provide that type of service out there. So there's really a lot of things we do that not only take people from one place to another, reduce congestion, reduce pollution, but really provide an economic benefit to the, not only to New Hanover County, but to the region as a whole. So our biggest focus right now is to provide service to the southern beaches. Both Curie Beach and Carolina Beach have expressed a great deal of interest in making sure and seeing that we can provide service there, because it does provide them and the major employers down there with service employees that are very difficult to get in this type of economy. So if you support what we do, please contact your county commissioners, tell them you support what we do. Tell them we need a vehicle registration fee to make sure that we can provide this type of service to the southern portion of the county. And go to our website, waytransit.com. We just launched a foundation called Making Waves Foundation. We're only the second transit system in the United States that's actually started their own foundation. But this is not only meant to reduce the subsidies that we need from the government and taxpayers, but it's also meant to serve as an opportunity for the community to give back, to understand what we do, to understand the challenges faced by people when it comes to getting transportation. And I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize one of the Making Waves Foundation board members, Ms. Badgen. It's a 3-person board, but it's 501c3. Please go to the website. If you're interested, please give. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions after, or if you'd like to come see Ford Station, and if you're really ambitious, I'll take you out and show you a vegetative roof. The plants are still pretty small, but they're pretty neat. I'd love to show you around. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Oliver. So our next 2 panelists, I met for the first time today, and they are married, and they came highly recommended, and Albert recommended Linda Wallace, although I'm going to introduce Everett Wallace first. He's president of Wallace Enterprises and hails from Raleigh. He's got a wealth of experience in not only with transit-oriented development, but in economic development in general, and in leveraging finance, which I thought was something that is pretty critical right now. But anyway, I'm going to let Everett talk a bit.